Ladies and gentlemen, queens of your own destiny, listen up. There comes a time when you have given your heart, your soul, your energy to someone, and they took it for granted. They treated your love like an option while you made them a priority. But let me tell you something, this is where the real transformation begins. Because today you will stop chasing and start evolving. You will become the kind of woman that haunts his soul long after you've walked away. You will be the one that got away, the woman he'll regret losing for the rest of his life. And how do you do that? Not by begging, not by proving your worth, but by disappearing from his life and becoming so untouchable that he has no choice but to ache for you. A woman of mystery is not a woman who plays games. She is a woman who understands the power of scarcity. When something is always available, it loses its value. But when something is rare, when it carries an air of the unknown, it becomes irresistible. You want to make him feel your absence so deeply that it shakes him to his core. You see, when he thought you would always be there, he never looked twice. He never questioned what life would be like without you, because in his mind you were permanent, predictable, like the sun rising every morning. He knew that no matter how much he neglected your worth, you would still be there, waiting, hoping, loving. But here's where the shift happens. The moment you remove your energy, you remove his comfort. You take away the certainty he was so used to. And trust me, there is nothing more terrifying to a man than the realization that he has lost something he can never get back. Do you know what drives the human mind crazy? The unknown? The what ifs? The mystery? And that, my queen, is what you must become. A mystery that lingers in his thoughts like an unsolved puzzle. When you stop answering his messages immediately, when you stop picking up his late night calls, when you stop being the one who always initiates, he will feel that shift. At first, he may act like he doesn't care. He might shrug it off, thinking you're just having a mood swing or playing a game. But as time passes and you remain an enigma, unreachable, untouchable, that's when his mind will start racing. Where is she? Why isn't she texting me? Who is she with? Has she moved on? This is when doubt will creep in. His once assured confidence that you would always be there for him, shattered. And here's the most powerful part, he will never admit it. Oh no, he won't show it. At least not at first. But deep inside, he will feel something he has never felt before, fear. Fear of losing something rare. Fear of knowing that another man might be appreciating what he took for granted. Fear of realizing that the woman who once centered her world around him has now become a world of her own, one that he is no longer a part of. And this is where your power lies. You don't have to post anything dramatic. You don't have to prove anything. Just pull back. Let your silence be louder than any words you could ever speak. Instead of constantly updating him about your life, let him wonder. Instead of responding to his messages with long paragraphs, keep it short, or better yet, don't respond at all. Leave him questioning. Leave him craving. Because let me tell you something powerful. The human brain hates unfinished stories. It is wired to seek closure, to fill in the gaps. And when you suddenly become a mystery, his mind will go into overdrive, trying to figure you out. He will check his phone more often. He will overanalyze your last conversation. He will start reminiscing about moments he once overlooked. The moments where you laughed at his jokes. The times you looked at him like he was the only man in the world. The warmth of your presence. The comfort of your voice. The softness of your touch. All the things he once ignored will now haunt him. And just like that, you become the thought he can't escape. You see, a woman of mystery is not a woman who plays hard to get, she simply is hard to get. She does not beg for attention because she knows that her presence is a privilege, not a right. She does not over-explain her actions because she knows that a man who truly values her will seek to understand, not assume. She does not chase because she knows that what is truly meant for her will never need to be chased. And do you know what happens when a man starts feeling that loss? When he starts sensing that you are no longer his to claim, he starts chasing. Suddenly he remembers your worth. Suddenly he realizes the void you left behind. Suddenly he sees you as the rare, irreplaceable force that you always were. But here's the secret: by the time he realizes it, it might already be too late. Because by then, you won't just be a woman of mystery in his eyes, you will be a woman of power in your own life. You will be too busy leveling up, too busy thriving, too busy being the best version of yourself to ever lower your standards again. And when he finally gathers the courage to reach out, to try and reclaim what he once took for granted, all he will find is the cold, hard truth. You are no longer waiting. There is something undeniably powerful about the silent transformation of a woman who has been underestimated. The kind of transformation that does not come with loud announcements, no desperate need for validation, no petty attempts to make him jealous, just pure, undeniable, unstoppable growth. When you decide to level up silently, you become a force of nature, a masterpiece in progress, a woman so elevated that the man who once took you for granted can no longer reach you. You see, the mistake most women make after a heartbreak is that they try to prove a point. They post about their glow up, they throw subtle hints on social media, they make sure he sees them moving on. But what they don't realize is that when you truly level up, you don't care if he sees it or not. You don't care if he notices. Because the moment you care about his reaction, you are still giving him power over you. And a woman who is truly evolving gives no man that kind of power. Imagine this. Imagine disappearing not in a dramatic, emotional way, but in a way that is so effortless, so focused, so intentional that the world, including him, has no choice but to wonder, where did she go? No more over-explaining. No more trying to make him understand your worth. No more giving him a front row seat to your journey. You simply vanish from his world and start building your own. And while he is out there, thinking you are heartbroken, crying or waiting for his return, you are doing the exact opposite. You are becoming the woman he never believed you could be. You wake up with purpose. You start working on yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You don't post about your progress. You become the progress. You hit the gym not for revenge, but for your own strength. You upgrade your mind with knowledge, with wisdom, with unshakable self-respect. You step into your power in a way that makes you magnetic, not because you are trying to impress him, but because you are finally impressing yourself. And do you know what happens when a woman starts moving in silence? The world feels her absence. People start wondering where she went. There is an energy shift, a sudden void in the places she used to be so accessible. And he will feel it too. At first he won't take it seriously. He will assume you are just acting up, that you are playing some game. He might even convince himself that you will eventually come back, that you will break your silence, that you will reach out like you always did. But you won't. Because you are too busy becoming a version of yourself that no longer settles for half-hearted love, for empty promises, for a man who once made you question your own worth. And as time passes, that's when the realization will hit him like a storm. He will check his phone and realize that the good morning texts he used to take for granted are gone. He will scroll through social media, looking for hints of your life, only to find nothing. He will go to the places where he once knew he could find you, only to discover you are no longer there. And the worst part, no one will be able to tell him where you are, what you're doing, or who you're doing it with. You see, when a man realizes that a woman has truly disappeared, not physically, but emotionally, it shakes his very existence. Because now the woman who once made him the center of her world is now a universe of her own. A universe he no longer has access to. And this is where his mind will start playing tricks on him. Is she seeing someone else? Has she moved on completely? Did she ever really love me if she could just disappear like this? Oh, and that last question, that one will hurt the most. Because it will make him realize that the power he once thought he had over you was never real. It was only real because you allowed it. And now you have taken that power back. And when he finally gathers the courage to reach out, when he sends that, "Hey, how have you been?" message, hoping to reopen a door that he himself closed, you will barely flinch. Because by the time he comes searching, you will no longer be the same woman he left behind. The woman who used to wait by the phone, she's gone. The woman who used to cry over his absence, she no longer exists. The woman who once gave him endless chances, she has evolved into someone who does not look back. And that realization, that will haunt him forever. There is a moment in every woman's life when she realizes she has been settling for less than she deserves. A moment when she looks in the mirror and sees someone who has poured her heart, soul, and energy into a man who never truly valued her. A moment when she feels the weight of every excuse she made for him, every tear she shed, every time she lowered her standards just to keep someone who never even tried to keep her. And that moment is the beginning of something unstoppable. Because the second you embrace your worth, the second you truly see yourself for the goddess that you are, everything changes. You stop begging for love, you stop proving yourself. You stop trying to convince a man to see your value because you finally see it yourself. You realize that love should never be a transaction where you keep giving and giving, hoping that one day he will finally appreciate you. Love should be reciprocated. It should be effortless. It should be undeniable. And the moment you understand that, you will never again tolerate a man who treats you like an option. Imagine this. A woman walks into a room and every single person can feel her presence before she even speaks. Not because she's the loudest, not because she's desperate for attention, but because she carries herself with a quiet, unshakable confidence. This is the kind of energy that comes from knowing your worth. And here's the truth. The moment you know your worth, you become a woman that no man can afford to lose. You are no longer the woman who waits by the phone for a message that may never come. You are no longer the woman who justifies his cold behavior, his mixed signals, his lack of effort. You are no longer the woman who cries herself to sleep, wondering what she did wrong. Because now you are a woman of standards. And let me tell you something about men. They recognize when a woman has standards. At first they may test you. They may try to see if you'll bend, if you'll tolerate their inconsistency, if you'll chase after them like you used to. But when you stand firm, when you refuse to settle, that's when they feel it. The shift, the loss, the regret. Because now the woman who once gave her all without question is suddenly untouchable. He starts to wonder what changed. He starts to realize she's not waiting for me anymore. He starts to feel I messed up. And that moment will hit him harder than anything else ever could. Because here's something every woman needs to understand. Men do not regret losing the woman who begged for their love. They regret losing the woman who finally realized she never needed to beg in the first place. That is why you must embrace your worth, not just in words, not just in theory, but in action. You show your worth in the way you walk away from situations that no longer serve you. You show your worth in the way you refuse to entertain half-hearted love. You show your worth in the way you demand respect, not with anger, not with desperation, but with absolute certainty. And when you do this, when you step into your power, that is when everything shifts. You don't just become a woman he misses, you become a woman he can never replace. Because once a man has experienced the presence of a woman who truly knows her worth, every other woman feels like a lesser version of what he once had. And when he finally realizes that, when he finally understands the depth of what he lost, that is when he will wish more than anything that he could turn back time. There is a power in silence that shakes a man to his core. A power so intense, so undeniable, that it forces him to feel something he never thought he would feel: your absence. Because the truth is, a man never truly realizes what he had until it's no longer within his reach. Until the calls stop, until the messages are left unread, until the access he once took for granted is completely cut off. And that, my queen, is when the regret begins to burn. You see, as long as he knows you're still there waiting, checking up on him, responding to his random late-night texts, he will never truly understand your value. He will never feel the void. He will never be forced to confront the truth of what he has lost. Because in his mind you are still an option. But the moment you take away that access, the moment you remove yourself from his world completely, that is when he begins to suffer. At first he will act unbothered. He will convince himself that you're just playing games, that you'll come running back like you always do. He will check his phone, expecting to see your name pop up on his screen. He will scroll through social media, assuming that sooner or later you'll post something that hints at missing him. But when days turn into weeks and you remain silent, when he realizes that you are no longer reacting to him, no longer reaching out, no longer waiting, that is when his mind will start spiraling. Because now you are a mystery. And nothing haunts a man more than the unknown. Is she over me? Has she moved on? Did she ever really love me if she can just disappear like this? These questions will eat him alive. And the worst part, he will have no answers. Because you are no longer there to provide him with reassurance. You are no longer there to make it easy for him. You are no longer giving him the comfort of knowing that he still has some control over you. And that is when he will feel it, the loss. The loss of the woman who always cared. The loss of the woman who always checked in. The loss of the woman who made him feel like he was the center of her world. And when that realization hits, it will hit hard. He will try to distract himself, maybe even pretend he doesn't care. He will go out with friends, talk to other women, bury himself in work. But no matter what he does, he won't be able to shake the feeling that something is missing. Because no matter how many people he surrounds himself with, none of them will compare to you. None of them will make him feel the way you did. None of them will have the same depth, the same energy, the same presence that he once took for granted. And it will start driving him crazy. He will pick up his phone 100 times, wanting to reach out, but stopping himself because his pride won't let him. He will type out messages only to delete them. He will check your social media, hoping to find some sign that you still care. He will replay old conversations, trying to remember where things went wrong. And the longer your silence lasts, the more desperate he will become. Because now he is no longer in control. You are. And that is when he will start to miss you in ways he never expected. Not just your presence, but your energy. Not just your voice, but the way you made him feel. Not just your touch, but the warmth that came with it. And that, my queen, is the kind of regret that lingers forever. There is something undeniable about a woman who stops casing. A woman who no longer waits for a reply, no longer checks if he's online, no longer sits by the phone hoping he remembers her existence. The moment you stop running after him is the moment he starts feeling your absence in ways he never imagined. Because as long as you were there waiting, available, predictable, he never had to question what life would be like without you. But the second you pull back, the second you stop seeking his validation, that's when the game changes. At first he won't notice. He will assume you're just upset, that you're giving him the silent treatment, that you'll eventually come back like you always do. He will continue living his life unaffected, because in his mind you are still his. You are still somewhere in the background, still hoping for him, still waiting for the smallest breadcrumb of attention. But then something shifts. Days pass, then weeks, then longer. And suddenly he starts to realize you're not coming back this time. You're not checking in, you're not reacting to his posts. You're not watching his stories, liking his pictures, or subtly reminding him that you still care. You've gone silent. And that silence will feel louder than anything else. Because men don't truly feel a woman's worth when she is constantly available. They feel it when she is gone. They feel it when they reach for her and she is no longer there. They feel it in the spaces she once occupied, in the attention they once took for granted, in the effort they never truly appreciated. At first he will try to suppress it. He will tell himself he's fine, that you'll come around eventually, that you'll break before he does. But then something unexpected happens. He starts to miss you. Not just the idea of you. The way you laughed at his dumb jokes. The way you believed in him when no one else did. The way you showed up for him even when he didn't deserve it. And suddenly the things he once ignored become the things he can't stop thinking about. And here's the painful truth for him. By the time he realizes what he lost, you will already be gone. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You will have already outgrown the version of yourself that once accepted less than she deserved. You will have already stepped into the kind of confidence that no longer needs his approval. You will have already become the kind of woman who doesn't wait for a man to choose her because she has already chosen herself. And that realization, that will haunt him more than anything else ever could. There is a kind of transformation that shakes a man to his core. A transformation so powerful, so undeniable that it forces him to see you in a way he never did before. And that transformation happens the moment you stop needing him and start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. Because you see, as long as you were there, as long as you were waiting him the center of your world, as long as you were waiting for his love, his attention, his validation, he had no reason to chase you. He had no reason to fear losing you. He had no reason to step up. But the second you shift your energy, the second you stop making him your priority and start making yourself your greatest masterpiece, that's when he starts to feel it. At first he won't understand it. He won't see it coming. He will notice little things. You're not reacting the way you used to. You're not begging for his time. You're not seeking his attention, and it will confuse him. Because he was so used to the version of you that was always there, always giving, always trying. He never expected you to evolve into a woman who no longer needs him to feel whole. But the moment he sees you glowing, the moment he realizes that you are no longer his, that's when the regret will hit him like a storm he never saw coming. Because now, you are the one that got away. Now you are the woman he can't replace. Now you are the standard he never thought he would lose. And let me tell you something about men. They always remember the one who walked away and became unstoppable. Not the one who begged, not the one who waited, not the one who settled. They remember the one who transformed. Because suddenly, every other woman feels like a downgrade. Every other woman lacks the fire, the depth, the magic that you now carry effortlessly. And he will wonder, how did I not see her worth before? He will question, why did I let her go? He will realize, she was the best thing that ever happened to me. But by then, it will be too late. Because by the time he finally understands what he lost, you will have already stepped into a world where his absence is no longer felt. And that, my queen, is the greatest revenge. Not anger, not bitterness, but becoming the woman he can never have again. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes the most powerful thing she can do is move forward without looking back. Not with anger, not with revenge, not with bitterness, but with grace, self-respect, and an unshakable confidence that speaks louder than words. Because here's the truth, nothing haunts a man more than the realization that he is no longer a part of your world. It's not your tears that will make him regret losing you. It's not your anger that will make him come back. It's not your desperate attempts to make him see your worth that will change anything. It's your absence. It's your silence. It's your glow up. Because when a man loses a woman who loved him deeply, who gave him everything, who stood by his side when no one else did, he doesn't feel the weight of that loss immediately. No. At first he will be distracted. He will convince himself he made the right choice. He will keep himself busy with temporary people, temporary distractions, temporary thrills. But as time passes, something shifts. The excitement wears off, the distractions fade. The temporary attention he once enjoyed starts to feel empty. And that's when it hits him. That's when he realizes that no one else will ever love him the way you did. That's when he understands that what he had with you was real, and what he has now is just a shallow, fleeting illusion. But the most painful realization, by the time he understands what he lost, you will have already become someone he can never get back. Because while he was busy taking you for granted, you were busy becoming the best version of yourself. While he was ignoring your worth, you were elevating into a woman who no longer seeks his validation. While he was comfortable thinking you'd always be there, you were stepping into a life where his presence is no longer required. And that, my queen, is when he will feel it the most. The regret will come in waves. The memories will replay in his mind. The way you laughed, the way you supported him, the way you made him feel like the most important person in the world. And no matter how many new faces he surrounds himself with, none of them will compare to you. He will try to reach out, maybe a simple text, maybe a late night call, maybe a "Hey, how have you been?" message that carries the weight of unspoken regret. But it won't be the same, because now you are different. You are no longer the woman who waits. You are no longer the woman who hopes. You are no longer the woman who settles. You have become the woman who chooses herself. And when he finally sees that, when he finally understands that you are no longer his to have, that's when the pain of losing you will hit him the hardest. And now, my queen, here's the most powerful truth of all. You never truly lost him. He lost you. Because a woman like you, a woman who loves deeply, gives endlessly, and stands fiercely by the people she cares about, is rare. She is not replaceable. She is not someone who can be forgotten or substituted by something temporary. And while he may have taken you for granted before, while he may have thought you would always be there, life has a way of teaching people lessons they never saw coming. One day he will wake up and realize that the love he so carelessly let slip through his fingers was the kind of love men search for their entire lives. One day he will sit in silence, scrolling through old photos, reading old messages, and feeling the weight of what he lost settle in his chest like a storm he can't escape. One day he will see you not as the woman he left behind, but as the woman he can never have again. And that is when he will understand. It was never you who wasn't enough. It was him who was never enough for you. So don't waste another second waiting for his regret. Don't waste another breath hoping he realizes your worth. Because the most powerful thing you can ever do is become the woman who doesn't look back. Stand tall, move forward, shine so brightly that the man who once dimmed your light has no choice but to watch you glow from a distance. And when that moment comes, when he finally sees the masterpiece you've become, but knows he can never touch it again, that, my